our accounting firm, we have like our IT department. These guys talk in hieroglyphics, and I delegate an awful lot of responsibility to them, authority to them too.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes I've been in an IT meeting and say, hey, you know what? I really would like this and this and this. And they fire back and say, nope, not going to be done.
That doesn't work.
It doesn't work because we got these other things that are of a higher priority. Okay.
And you didn't see that.
I didn't see it. No,
Correct.
you know, or I say, you know what? You're right. That's a good point. Okay. We'll put it on the list in the back burner and whatever, you know, but they really care about it. They have initiative, you know, and they're really applying. So why in the world would I get in there and start wagging my finger? They're doing a fabulous job. We're going in a great direction, you know.
Yep.
But I mean, that's for like all different departments. You know, you gotta if there's too much ego in there,
that doesn't work.
It's just you never build something that'll last long term.
No. And you can't work with them either.
Yeah. Eventually, the really good people, they just say, you know, thank you.
Yep.
I'm going to go and I'm going to give a little bit more authority somewhere else. And I can go my own or something. And rightfully so. They should.
Yep.
Absolutely. Because initiative, if they have the initiative and the drive or whatever, then go for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll give you the resources to do great things, you know. 'Cause I've put in 20 years of 16-hour work days. Why in the world am I doing? Like now, I like it's like I play chess. Well, if I move this over here, oh yeah, okay, we'll do that, and then we'll do this and we'll do that. That's really. It sounds like I'm really lazy, but these guys work differently.
Yeah,
my work is completely different.
Yeah, and these guys have the energy.
Yeah,
and just let them go. Make you look good.
Yeah, well,
that's it. Yeah,
yeah.
Why not?
Build
your firm for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these guys are having fun doing it.
They share the wealth. I would much rather have what was it now? I'd rather have. There's one thing where instead of having 10 people give me $1,000, I'd rather have 1,000 people give me $10. You know, it's way better. You diversify stuff, and it's the same way as if I take control of absolutely everything, and yes, okay, I can make $1,000, but you know what? I'm okay with making $400, $500, $600, and then the rest go to the people who have all of the energy.
Yeah.
And put it towards that.
I actually had a conversation a little bit like that at work. I dropped my trailer last week, and some other driver came out and said, "Oh, how are you doing?" "I'm doing good, making the miles." And we were just talking to see. I guess he was trying to find out how much I was driving, and because it's been a little bit slow, and I don't feel the pressure of finance like some of the other guys do. They've got newer trucks and they've got payments, and so that pressure is there, and I'm not. I'm slowing down, so I come at it differently, and they're a little taken back because they're not sure what. But I said, you know what? On average per load, I'm still doing very well. I'm very happy with what's going on. And he says, yeah, well, I was thinking of going here. They pay a few percent better and this and that. And I said, oh, you know what? You could. The problem is you make a change and it takes you 6 months just to break even from the change, and then start working on, figuring out what the company's doing. I said, you know what? If my company and my customers are happy with what I'm doing, I've got a repeat business happening. It's something that's dependable. It comes around, and for me, customer service, oh shoot, I love seeing the customers. Oh, my stuff is here. Oh, good, we can do this. Yeah. Oh, wow, what are you building? Like, what's going on? Like, for me, that's great. I get to see all these things and be a part of helping people expand or do things different.
But you're not running at the rate that you did 30 years ago.
No.
20 years ago or so. Because you pick and choose.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
And there are some people like we were talking the other day. We had I got a little bit of feedback on one of our podcasts because we get some feedback. For instance, that all we're talking about is older trucks,
Right.
and nothing new or so.
Yeah.
We had a person contacted. They just bought a brand new truck, like whatever, 180, 200, whatever it was, $200,000, and he says the cash flow is really working for me right now, and I understand that. I respect it. Now he is an unusual situation. First of all, he's doing LCVs, combination. He's on a scheduled run. Okay, so you have much more predictability of your fuel.
Yeah.
You can keep an eye on your maintenance and stuff like that when you're on a scheduled run. Plus, also LCVs, generally speaking, especially with fuel, you can have pretty good margins if your fuel is your margins are really good if you can keep your fuel within check. So, for you to do LCVs and you're whatever 6.25 miles to the gallon, you're not going to do as well as somebody who can get 8.5.
Yep. Yeah.
And so the cash flow is huge difference,
Yes.
and it actually makes numerical sense.
Yeah.
Thing of course we don't know is what the future holds in 4 to 5 years from now. In that, but if the margin is high enough. And he manages the cash enough, so like he pays things down at a nice fast rate. He could do well, I'm not exactly sure if but he could not take that same truck, even if he was getting 8.5, and serve your customers that you are doing, because you're doing whatever 7,000 or 8,000 miles in a month, maybe
somewhere in there. Yeah.
6 sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. If I'm lucky.
If you're lucky.
If my wife is lucky.
Yeah, that's right. So realistically, he needs the volume as well as the margin.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have the volume.
No.
You just need the margin to a certain point.
Yeah.
And so it's very different business models.
Yes.
And he's in a different time frame in his life. To be able to make it work.
His business model is what I went through 20 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
I had an old International, and actually I laid it over and wrote it off. And I was contemplating, okay, well, maybe I just not drive truck anymore. And we did some numbers. You told me about Steve's livestock. Oh no, I was in there already, and I didn't know whether I was going to continue with it. That's what it was. And I was looking for a used truck. I didn't have any intention of going new, but from what I was driving to what I bought, they were telling me I was going to get at least 1.5 miles better fuel mileage. So you sat down with me and we realized that if all I needed was a minimum of 0.5 mile to the gallon, and my payment difference was covered.
Yeah.
And I knew for a fact a 0.5 mile to the gallon I could manage. And so that's the reason I made that jump.
Okay, what was the cost? Do you remember what the cost? It was in 1999, wasn't it? Or 1998?
99, yeah.
99. What would you pay for it? Was it 130? 125?
126, I think. Yeah, I think that was once everything was
done. So you had to keep your miles up for the first 4, 5, 6 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
all I had to do was maintain the same mileage. And I was working, the company I was working for, I put myself in their care because they're a good go-getting company.
Yeah.
I don't even have to say anything, and they're going to get me out on the road because they want to make money, right? So you got to find that right company that's motivated on their end to make themselves money, and you hardly have to be a go-getter.
Yeah.
You just service your customers. They're going to say, "Oh, I want that guy on my road again. he does what I want. He's making me money. Send him. So you, by default, you become a priority carrier.
Mm-hmm.
And so
It's a good move back then.
yes.
And you had several opportunities to buy new after that.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times have you rebuilt your engine? Twice?
3.
3 times.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got, what is it? I didn't do the math lately, but it should be somewhere around 3.3 million miles on the truck right now. So.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's probably paid for itself. It's probably about 3 or 4 times.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That's
it's paid for the truck. It's paid for all my personal vehicles. It's paid for my house. It's paid for my living.
Yeah.
It's helped support the kids. That one vehicle, you know, to just trade it up. No, it's done well. It's not as quiet as the new ones.
Yeah. I was talking to higher up at a company a while back, and I think I told this story before too. And he was complaining that there was a guy, 75 years old, who was a truck driver, and some dealership sold him a brand new truck, $230,000, you know, and the manager called up the dealership and he says, "What are you thinking? This guy is 75 years old."
Yeah,
you know, and. I guess bottom line, the dealership just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like it was a sale.
Wow.
And I guess the driver didn't care either. Like he wasn't thinking.
If
like,
I die, I don't have to make the payment.
Yeah. But that's really not a life choice that people should be making. Like there are I have clients in their late 70s and 80s driving, and I talk to them. So when are you gonna retire? And he says, "When I die."
Mm-hmm.
He says that's pretty much, you know, that's their only that's what they're looking forward to in the future is dying. And it's nice on the road. Like
sure it is.
Some people just love the road, and you know there's nothing more you know at home anymore.
Yeah.
And it's to some people it's fine, and I can really respect that, you know.
Yeah.
But realistically, the vast majority of them don't die on the road. They become incapable of doing the job anymore.
Yeah.
And then everything comes crashing down.
I've had opportunities available to me that I could upgrade and get a nice, quiet, better fuel mileage truck.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'd have to weigh the cost of the emissions issues on the newer trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a risk factor.
That is a risk factor that it's like going to Vegas. You know, you could go there and win and do it big. You could lose everything too.
Yep.
And I know I've heard of both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not ignorant to either side, but at this point I'm close to the end of my career. I'm not going to put myself into a high risk scenario at the end of my career.
But
now, if I had 10 years to go in my career, that would change my thinking a little bit. I'd still be hesitant. But
I think you have 10 years.
Oh, I could, yes.
Yeah.
But you
you don't want a high stress 10 years. Like you have 10 years for 15 years
absolutely.
too.
Yeah.
But you don't want a high stress 10, 15.
We have been talking though. Sooner or later, we're going to have to buy a newer vehicle.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't drive this one another 20 years or even 10 years. Like, is it going to go that long? I look after it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I would like to have something that, like, I listen to these guys that have newer trucks. The fuel mileage you're getting is just absolutely phenomenal.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I can make my payments on what those guys are getting for fuel mileage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, you're running teams, so that multiplies your fuel.
Right, and my truck is terrible on fuel.
Oh yeah,
mm-hmm.
Like terrible. But we're pulling flatbed, so I mean, how much better would the new trucks do on
Pulling flatbed,
what I'm
yeah.
doing
Yeah.
than like I have friends that just bought a new truck, brand new one, and they're doing phenomenal fuel mileage,
Mm-hmm.
but they're pulling van
Yeah.
and they're set up for it, everything. So now you put that same truck on what I do.
Yeah, that may
Yeah.
not be the
They're-
same.
You're gonna
hauling,
lose-
if
they're
you
gonna
haul
lose fuel.
combines, it doesn't really make any difference what you're
No, and see, we
It's
haul
like
mostly
parachutes.
farm equipment, and
Yeah.
that all scrapes wind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's, yeah, the truck works hard.
yeah.
Like when I
Mhm.
was at the other company before pulling van, oh man, there was no work for that truck.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Like I could go almost 10 years on a set of tires.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's no work.
Yeah.
And then when I started this job a year and a half ago,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm really noticing my truck.
Your
is-
margins are better though.
My truck
Mhm.
is aging. I don't know what the guys are getting now on van. I know it is lower. Yeah, we are. I talked to our friends that just started at a company just over a month and a half ago, and I asked them what they were taking home, if I may
Right.
ask.
Mhm.
And
Did they have that new truck?
Yeah, they have that new
Oh,
truck.
yeah. That'll make a difference because the cash, eh?
Yeah. So
Or I mean the
different
fuel.
the different if I would take my truck to that same company
Yeah.
and at the fuel mileage, even if I'd get half a mile to the gallon better,
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm still way lower, like over 3 miles to the gallon, worse than they are. So I figured, okay, if they're taking home this, I'm taking home about 75 cents a mile.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
So I mean, we are definitely taking home more than that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're about over 50 cents, 60 cents ahead,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
even with bad fuel mileage.
Yeah.
My boss always says, "Don't worry about the fuel mileage."
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
He said, "You look at the rate,"
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
What you're getting.
so and some of
Yeah.
the rates have been really, really good,
Yeah.
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 really good.
Yeah. So you'll get like 7 or 8 nice ones, and then you have to deal with it. 3 or
You know
4.
what? I take the lower paying ones too, because if you're going to sit over there for 2 days,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's going to cost you something there,
Mhm.
and then you still might not get
Yeah.
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
one. So take this one, get it to where it needs to go, and
Yeah.
take another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know some of our guys will sit on the road for 4 days.
Yeah.
I will not do that.
No.
Oh.
No.
You're also a husband-wife team, and you could and time is a little bit more of a factor for you because you got the
Mhm.
power.
Mhm.
Like all you had, just shoot over there, and you never run out of hours, and you just go.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so it's a little bit different on your business model.
Yeah.
For
Well,
sure.
I know at our company, there's guys that won't do a load unless it pays so much per mile.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
We have some like
they'll
that too.
they'll sit at home for a day and a half until
Mhm.
that comes along.
Mhm.
Well,
Sitting at home is a little different than on the road.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but even on the road, if they find they're pulling hens, they're always fighting with the dispatch and like, come on, you got to do better, you got to do this, and like that. For me, that would stress me out so much more.
Yeah.
Get me home, whatever. But I've also found that the company that I work for, every once in a while there is a low paying load, and they keep that in mind. At the
Yeah.
end of the
Yeah.
month,
Yeah.
they have an overall average what I did per mile.
Yeah,
and
but they know
have
you.
they have
know
a
you.
minimum,
Yeah.
but they also have that for everyone. Like,
Mhm.
I know there's bad loads, but we're trying to keep it at
Yeah.
least a minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they work hard at that. They do very well. And you know what? Everybody knows that every once in a while you're just going to get one that sucks.
Yeah.
You can get a high. I've done really high paying loads that cost me in permits and downtime and waiting, and it ends up being one of the suckiest loads
Yeah. Yeah.
because of because of
Time,
all of these
yeah.
other things, right?
Mhm.
And I would have just as soon put on some 2x4s and haul them to Minneapolis for $1.50 and then done. Like, what?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Like, sometimes you're running around in circles, but at that point, I also, for me, it's also about customer service,
Mhm.
because every once in a while you get this customer that needs something done, and you may not make as much as you'd like, But if you can get it to where they want it, you have sold them for their next emergency. You're the first one. I know this guy got it done for me. We need to get that done. Oh yeah, it might cost us, but I know he can get it done. I'm the first one on the list.
Yeah.
I'm splitting up that loss last time with a little bit of gain in the future, you know. And if I can sell my boss and his company to a client with my services, we all win.
Yeah.
We did that last trip. We were supposed to deliver in Elva, Oklahoma on a Wednesday morning, and then we were scheduled to pick up in Tulsa on Wednesday afternoon. And so we had been home for a few days, and so we left on Sunday instead of Monday. And then Kathy says, "You know what? We can unload on Tuesday." And I says, "Yeah, we can, but why don't we just relax? Because our reload was Wednesday afternoon, but we weren't supposed to be in Vernon, BC till Monday morning to unload, and so we had lots of time. Finally, let's take a little bit of a holiday and just relax." So whatever, we unloaded on Tuesday. I called the bus place in Tulsa. I said, "Hey, I know we're scheduled to load tomorrow." I said, "But we're 4 hours away." I said, "What's the chance of loading that bus today?" I said, "Come on down." And so we went there. We loaded up the bus. We left there at 4 o'clock. Now this is Tuesday, 4 o'clock. Kathy says, "We can unload on Friday morning in Vernon instead of Monday." I said, "I know we can." But I said, "Now we got 5 days to drive 2,000 miles."
Yeah.
And so we took off. And
I thought you were the aggressive one.
I was just going to say, I thought you were the hard driver.
No, I'm not.
Oh, really?
I'm not anymore. No. But anyway,
take turns.
I thought, okay, woman, you want to drive?
There
Let's
we go.
drive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We unloaded in Vernon on Thursday morning.
What?
At 5 in the morning, we unloaded.
Thursday morning.
Holy cow. In Vernon, BC. We stayed U.S. side. We went up through Spokane, then north from Spokane, and then went through the Okanagan. Yep. I called the guy on Wednesday morning, and I said, "Hey," I said, "we're going to be there tomorrow morning." I said, "Can we unload this bus tomorrow?" He said, "You told me where they were." He said, "The buses are all in a row." He said, "Just unload it and put it in the lineup." He said, "Leave the bills in the bus."
What do we?
So we got there at 5 o'clock in the morning. We unloaded at 8, and we had a reload Friday morning.
Oh, no.
That had to go to Long Lac. Now, we unloaded in Long Lac on Sunday because I phoned the guy when we left Edmonton on Friday. He said, "Hey," I said, "we're going to be in Long Lac on Sunday already." I said, "Can we sleep at your place?" He said, "What time are you going to be here on Sunday?" I said, "Around supper time, maybe a little later." He said, "You call me when you get here." And he says, "I'll unload you."
Oh,
I said, "Okay, great." So we got there Saturday night at 11:30. We slept there. We unloaded first thing in the morning. We had a reload 4 hours from there. We reloaded on Sunday afternoon. We unloaded in Lundar, Manitoba on Monday morning when we were supposed to unload in Vernon.
Oh my goodness, you've been across the country
We came home and we were just home. I had just sat down with a cup of coffee outside. Now we got a week and a half off. Dispatch phone says, "Can you do me a favor?" I said, Sheldon, I just got home. He said, "I know." He said, "I got a tractor in Steinbach, needs to go to Rainier River. Can you take it?" So into the truck, bobbed that tractor over there, and came home.
Nice.
So, I mean, we made some serious money there in that 8 days. That was just absolutely profound.
Do you give your wife commission when she's like,
So don't ever do that again. But I thought, then when we got home, then she says, "Okay, now I'm done too."
Time to bake some bread.
Yeah, but you know what? We, as two drivers, we can do that.
Yeah.
So you just, do you want to?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Stuff like that is fun, though.
It is.
You know, when it just lines up and it's just like, I can do that.
I
can do that.
It all clicked. Yeah. But it doesn't always do that.
No.
No.
So,
but you know what? 25 years ago, the mindset is completely different. You had to go,
Yeah.
just to make ends meet,
Yeah.
you know? So a lot of the younger guys are just getting in, you know? They have to have it. They're a completely different mindset. You know, they have to go
Yeah.
and push, go. And if the dispatch doesn't get it all together, well, then we have some dominoes starting to fall.
I read an article just, was it on late last week when we were on our way to London. There is such a turnover in the trucking now with the young guys coming in. They don't stay because they see the rat race and what they have to do, how long they have to be gone. I mean, for us, that's nothing. We've always done that.
Yeah.
But these guys, I ain't staying away from my friends that long
Right.
or my family.
Yeah.
And so they quit. There is no young guys in the industry.
No.
Yeah. Well, they look at it and they say, you know, the rats win and lose. That's it. You're just a rat. And but you guys, but you put 20 years in and you got the equity and you how do I say this? You've what do they call that? Paid the piper. You've paid your dues. That's it. You paid your dues, and now you're able to do what you enjoy to do it. And you can push if you want, or don't push if you don't want. Wait if you want. All sorts of stuff. But the younger generation, can you imagine having a $200,000 truck that you have to, you know, and you're just flying like crazy, and you got 10 years in front of you to, first of all, to pay it off, and then to build something for, you know, oh man, the pressure. Maybe we're just getting old.
Well, you know what?
We've learned. Like we're getting smarter.
Yeah.
And like when we were young, we never thought of it. I mean, everybody has payments, right? We have payments.
Yeah.
But now to have a $5,000 truck payment, you got a $1,500 mortgage payment or more. You got a vehicle payment or two. Plus you got groceries. I mean, it's crazy. How do you do that as a single driver?
Yeah. No.
Or as somebody who doesn't have a home. They're just in an apartment and they're
in a truck.
And they're working like crazy trying to get down payment for a house. That's you know $400,000 is a low house value right now. They must obviously be on the prairies if they're buying a $400,000 house or out in the bush somewhere. You know, it is tough. It is really it's really tough. But you have to learn how to sacrifice.
Yeah,
like I mean,
but that's all part of a business plan, though, because as much as we did or didn't think about it when we were younger, we had a business plan. I need to pay this truck off. That was the shortest part of it. Get this truck paid off. We had energy. We had connections. We just did it and made it happen. And as we go along, we can. I'll get our personal vehicle paid off, and then the house is paid off, and then this something extra school for the kids, or this and this. That business plan just got worked and worked. And now I don't see the younger generation that's getting into trucking. They don't have that business plan. Like some of them do, but it's more you've got to,
you were saying very few have a business mind.
It's like okay, I'm going and what's my paycheck? Well, yes, but okay, but see, the reason you and me can do what we can is because over the years we've made these payments. We've set ourselves up in a financial position where we're using the equity that we have in the truck to maintain and carry ourselves through. And like, we can't drive. I can't physically drive 15,000 miles a month anymore.
No.
Like, and when I was hauling livestock, 15 grand, that was an average okay month. Like there's lots of months I personally did 18 plus. Now those are long.
That's before the
months.
ELDs.
You think? Yeah. This was
But we also our mindset was to get the truck paid off because in 3 years the repairs are coming. And so you needed to be prepared for that.
You can't think paycheck to paycheck.
No,
There's,
not as an
the
owner
vision.
operator.
The vision is far too low.
Yeah.
You have to be way up higher.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
it's managing whatever equity you do develop, because when you buy the new truck, you've got the equity of a brand new truck and at least 3 years of non-major maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can usually figure in the regular maintenance that all works.
That extra margin has got to pay it down.
You've got to get rid of that payment because let's say year 4, you've got a rear end that needs to go, or you got a transmission, you've got this and you've got that. Well, if you're doing your truck payment plus a rear end and a clutch, some payments got to go somewhere. You know, it's managing that equity that you have acquired.
You brought a really good point up, and we know a driver out there who is constantly, who for many years asked advice of me. What should I buy? This? Should I do this? Should I do this? He finally got to the point where he had a truck that had good fuel economy, good margins, very solid truck, and he was doing really, really well with it. So he had it. I think it was pretty much paid for, but he had it for about a year and a half, and then he kept asking me, how am I doing? And I said, look, everything is fine. Don't touch anything. Keep going the way you're doing. Everything's fine. Then so 3 or 4 months later, I find out he sold the truck, bought a brand new truck, and then he had a huge payment again. This was before they were $200,000 or whatever, and his fuel economy went way down again. He lost about 2 miles a gallon or something like that, 1.5 miles or something like that. Well, he threw away all of his margin that he had, all of his really good, strong work for a good 2 or 3 or 4 years, and he just blew it on a shiny new truck.
Yeah,
and I'm not putting it like there's time to get a new truck without a doubt, but that was not it, because he didn't. He felt the pressure releasing. And he felt a little bit of freedom, and then wham, he just got himself right under the gun again. And if the person does that, it gets into the habit of it, doing it over and over again. Well, 20, 30 years after, he's in the exact same situation where he was 20, 30 years before that. He's just not getting away. It's the small little choices. Yeah. Well, actually, they're big choices sometimes that make a huge difference 20 years down the line. But I guess if a truck driver he says, I'm just gonna try being an owner operator for a couple of years and see how it goes. Well, your vision for your success is way too low. You have to say, look, if you're going to commit to being an owner operator, you got to be 5 to 7 years.
Yeah. Trying doesn't work. It's like riding a bull. Like, I can try.
Once you're on him, you're on him.
Yeah. Either you want, you're going to. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, I gave myself 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I bought a very cheap truck, very cheap, and I paid it off in 3 months.
Oh wow!
And but yeah, the money back then was better than now. But and then I bought a new one, and that one did super well. I wish I still had that truck. That thing was, man, we did fuel mileage with that thing, and made some serious money. And just before it was paid off, I sold it and got out of it for a couple of years, and did something else. Drove somewhere else, and but yeah, I wish I still had it.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by Making Your Miles Count. For further Making Your Miles Count productions, call us at 877-987-9787 or download us at makingyourmilescount.com.